good morning to all of you. More than 35 countries participants are watching this program live, and we have next speaker, very famous Sachin, CEO and Director of SimplyFresh from Hyderabad. He's going to deliver a talk on opportunities, future and challenges of medicinal plants cultivation in hydroponics. So you must, when you are in Hyderabad, you must visit this farm so that you will have a practical exposure. Most of the tips from Sachin, you can learn about medicinal plant cultivation in hydroponics. Thank you. I welcome Sachin to address the webinar.
Hi, my name is Sachin. I'm founder, director, CEO of SimplyFresh. We are into medicinal plants and hydroponic growing. Today my topic is about challenges, opportunities in hydroponic for medicinal plants. It's a very upcoming field, what is happening today. There is a lot of new development. There is a lot of opportunities which are coming in medicinal plant space, specifically where there is a huge demand for nutraceutical segment. A lot of people are moving towards natural, safe, no side effect medicine. That is the macro level where a lot of demand is generated, and especially due to COVID that has just multiplied. There is good demand for a reliable raw material which is traceable, at the same time free from contaminants, so that the extraction process can be simpler. So the biggest pain point which hydroponic is trying to address today in medicinal plant space is the consistency of the batch. As you know, there is no soil, and every batch is so consistent because you can control your nutrients and you can control the climatic conditions to a level where every batch, the active could be very stable. With that, you can even demonstrate the traceability. You can even demonstrate that the produce has been grown sustainably. You can demonstrate all the protocols which you have followed. Global Gap can be certified for your farm, where all the best practices have been implemented. With this and the combination of best agro practices, and there are certain techniques which you can use to increase the active. With all that combination, it gets a very powerful proposition for the large companies who need a very large batches, but very consistent batches and very stable batches. So I feel personally this space is going to be very interesting space in coming years, because nobody wants to harvest their raw material from the jungles unsustainably. And end of the day, it has to be very viable for the farmers also. Especially if you look at the raw material price for the medicinal plants are not very high. So it has to change where it has been done today, because the kind of demand is going to come, the conventional methods will not be sufficient to meet that demand. So personally, I feel the Precision Ag combination with the right technologies and understanding the roles of microbes, the nutrients, the right techniques to grow medicinal plants, and creating this segment, I think will have a very bright future. So a couple of challenges, as we all know, there are no reliable quality of the seed material, especially when you talk about resistance, when you talk about the hybrids, because when you look at a tomato seedling, there are so many companies who have done so much of research and they come up with very good genetics. Whereas for medicinal plants, that space is still open. There are not very large companies who are working on developing good quality seedlings, good quality genetics, and supplying it to the farmer, saying that, look, this variety A has resistant to this 5 disease, or this can give you this much of guaranteed alkaloids. So I think those are the challenges which will be in moving years, I think will get better and better, because if more and more larger companies, more and more bigger agencies work in this medicinal plant space, where there is a market, there will be companies who will be innovating into it. Then, once you have a good planting material, which is your starting point, then what will be the good SOPs? What are the best practices? What is the good time of harvest? What is the best post-harvest management? All these things will go through a long change, because as I mentioned, it's a very new industry. I think we are the only country in the world who is looking at medicinal plants seriously and looking at it growing in hydroponic, looking at it growing in climate controlled greenhouses, and talking about it, doing so much of research. A lot of institutes are working on it. So personally, I feel it's a very interesting space, and there is a lot of learning going to happen in this space in next 3-4 years, and a lot of innovation is going to come up into this space because of the interest, because of the scope there is in this space. So that's what I feel about this sector. I would like to take you through our company video, where we are growing a lot of medicinal plants. At the same time, we grow a lot of fresh produce, which is supplied to local market and also for the export. So I will just take you through my farm, and then I will open up for the questions. Thank you.
In the vicinity of Hyderabad, Telangana, a 140-acre precision farm has challenged the norms of native farming. Simply Fresh, started with a vision for a healthy lifestyle, has been a pioneer in precision farming in India. It has set up Southeast Asia's largest plant factory. Producing fresh medicinal and aromatic plants for nutraceutical extraction with high percentage of alkaloids and flavorful crops for home consumption throughout the year. Aided by cutting-edge global technologies and driven by AI-based platform, Simply Fresh ensures a pesticide-free natural produce which produces 15 to 20 times higher yield compared to conventional farming. Where Simply Fresh is committed to food safety, hygiene, traceability of all produce. These plants are grown using precision farming techniques, soil-less cultivation right from seeding to harvest. An ambient environment in the germination chamber is created by controlling the light, humidity and temperature for better germination of seeds. At the early stage of plant growth, a conveyor system transfers germinated seeds to the nursery. A fully automated greenhouse shelters the different varieties of plants in an ideal ecosystem. AI-assisted multi-layered retractable roofs, climate sensors and fogging system help in filtering ultraviolet rays and maintain temperature and humidity in the greenhouse, maintaining a suitable environment for the crops all round the year. The farm management team uses different farming techniques based on plant profile. A man-made rainwater harvesting body spread across 6 acres with 100 million liters of storage capacity ensures sustainability of natural resources. Through its proprietary software Farm in a Box that integrates artificial intelligence, assisted technology and analytics, Simply Fresh monitors plants at every stage of its life cycle, called plant profiling, where it harvests each crop at the right time and produces a product that is perfect for the next stage. Nutrient dosing technique is used to feed the plants. The nutrients are mixed with reverse osmosis and ultraviolet rays treated water to ensure optimum plant health and higher yields at the time of harvest. Moreover, the water the plants receive is just the amount required, which is 1/10 of the water used in traditional farming methods. The post-harvest management team ensures that all the plants are treated as per customer specifications. The pack house team ensures that the fresh produce is washed and then dried using a centrifugal drying machine. The produce is then cut, processed and packed using state-of-the-art equipment. These products are dispatched to various clients. nutraceutical companies, retail outlets, corporates, hotels, and it is also exported to various countries. With a worldwide network of offices in Singapore, New York, London, and Hyderabad. Through an assigned QR code on the pack, you can witness a timeline of its journey and how it's nurtured throughout its growth cycle. So, you know exactly what you eat. Ensuring sustainable practices, food safety, consistent quality assurance with no use of pesticides. With a bit of love and care for healthily feeding the world. From farm to fork, we ensure what you consume is simply fresh.
I hope you guys enjoyed the video of my company. SimplyFresh was started in 2013. I was in Australia for good 20 years. Me and my wife decided to come back. We started the first farm at Shamirpet on 10 acres. Upon success, we went for private equity fundraising. Then we raised a good amount of money and we started the second facility, which you guys have just seen in the video. So SimplyFresh has invested a lot of time, energy, money into medicinal plants. We are growing a lot of medicinal plants today, and we are doing a lot of R&D around 60 odd medicinal plants. And we want to be innovating a lot on this medicinal plants, especially the SOPs, especially the right genetics and whatnot. So we are trialing. At the same time, we are working with industry. We are working with a lot of institutes on understanding certain intricacies of these alkaloids, biosynthesis pathways, how they are created, at what time they are created, and how we can interfere, at what time should we interfere, what is the good time to harvest, what is the good time to process. So we are working in this space quite heavily today. And based on the video, I will just open up for the questions with my team, and I will start taking up the questions.
So the first question is, can ashwagandha be cultivated in hydroponics, and also same for Bacopa and Shatavari?
At SimplyFresh, we have grown ashwagandha commercially, and also Shatavari and Bacopa. These are very good candidates to be grown in greenhouses, especially ashwagandha and Bacopa. Shatavari is a little longer duration crop, so you need to think through how and what price and what quantities you want to grow. But Shatavari and ashwagandha, both being root crops, they are quite good to grow into the hydroponic setup. Ashwagandha, as I mentioned, we have done a very large commercial cultivation of ashwagandha. There are a lot of challenges in ashwagandha when it comes to hydroponics, especially when you want to develop a good taproot for ashwagandha. It's completely different strategy, completely different irrigation and fertigation, because to develop a good taproot, a strong taproot is very, very challenging. It's not something like a leafy green where you want to just grow vegetative leaves. It's quite easy. But when you talk about root crops, which are longer duration crops, and you don't have very good visibility of the root, what is happening, it is a very different ball altogether. A lot of challenges. We have tried around 6-7 different cycles to crack the ashwagandha, and it is very challenging crop to grow into hydroponics, specifically when you are talking about the yields and the price you get for the product. So the space, the number of plants per square meter, number of plants per pot, the irrigation strategies, the fertigation strategies, what kind of EC, what kind of pH, what kind of media you would need, that is very, very critical, especially for the crops like ashwagandha, where you are developing it for the taproot. The aerial part is also quite important in ashwagandha, where a lot of companies are now buying the aerial part for extraction. They have worked out a way to extract from the aerial part, but the main material which is used by the extraction companies are the roots. So the root is not very big root. It is not a root like or a rhizome like turmeric or ginger, where you get large quantities. The roots are very skinny, but that's where your expertise and R&D will come in, how to develop a very, very strong taproot and number of plants per pot, what is the right mix, and based on that you have to work out around your climatic condition or on your greenhouse what size of pot you need, how deep it has to be, what kind of media is required, what kind of fertigation irrigation is required, what makes taproot to grow, what makes the fibrous roots to grow, how can you reduce the vegetative growth versus generative growth, and it's a 150-day crop for us. How can you shorten the cycle? How can you make 2 or 3 different crops in a year? How many days you want to keep it in the nursery? When do you want to transplant it? Does it go through transplantation shock? What are the diseases are born through over irrigation? So these are all the techniques you need to master before you take up a commercial crop of ashwagandha. Shatavari, our experience has been a lot more easier than ashwagandha. Shatavari was very good commercially when we have grown it. We got very good desired actives in it, and it was a very lot more simpler Shatavari than ashwagandha in my experience. And Bacopa is another very good commercial crop which our team has managed to crack, and we have grown Bacopa very successfully. And out of these 3, I would say Bacopa was one of the easiest one to grow, and one of the hardest one was the ashwagandha. So Bacopa is a very fast growing crop, and it catches up the speed once it reaches certain stage, and you can pretty much harvest it every week and collect the raw material, dry it and send it to the extraction units. But the key to the success in Bacopa is the right mix of microbes, healthy bacteria, and the right mix of nutrients, that plus your irrigation fertigation strategy. So that gives you a very, very good successful crop of Bacopa. So I will take up the next question.
So are there any disadvantages of hydroponic cultivation?
Look, as any technology, there are always advantages and disadvantages in this sector. Hydroponic comes with its own challenges. Hydroponic comes with its own economical challenges. It is very expensive when you compare it with the soil. Hydroponic cannot be compared with the soil grown produce. And hydroponic and the difference between the soil is, in soil there is a mother nature to take care of lot of things, whereas in hydroponics you are trying to replace that mother nature. Then you need to be on top of your game. You cannot rely on nature to take care, especially the root zone conditions, especially the nutrients, the right mix, the right time of transplantation, right time of planting, and the right coco peat, right mix of media. There are so many things where it is more challenging than the soil. But again, it comes up with its own advantages of better yields. So it is the ratio, how many times more yield can you get in hydroponic compared to the soil, and what are the advantages you will have. So you have to work towards the advantages. At the same time, you need to know the challenges which hydroponic brings in, and you need a plan, you need a team to work around those challenges. So you can have the best of both. You can have the best of traditional farming versus the advantages of hydroponics.
The next question is, what is the economic viability of medicinal plants cultivated through hydroponics?
Look, it's a very interesting question, but unfortunately there is no straightforward answer. It has to be economically viable, because certain things can be technically viable. You can even grow the plants on the Mars. There is no reason why you cannot. But is it economically viable? So that is the question which everybody wants to know. But the answer is not very simple, because there are so many variables which are dependent whether it is economically viable or not. Like, what is your active compared to the soil? Is it 2 times? Is it 3 times? Is it 4 times? How many times better yield are you getting? How efficiently you are managing your farm? What is your labor cost? What is your seed cost? What is your nutrient cost? What is your capex? What is the money you have borrowed? What is the interest on that money? What is the capital you have invested into hydroponics? So there are so many variables which will form a mix before you would conclude whether it is economically viable or not. So for us, definitely it is economically viable. That's the reason we grow commercially. But will it be economically viable for some other farm? It's very difficult to answer, because there are so many variables which will take part. It is like asking somebody, is your business profitable or not? Maybe for him it is profitable, maybe for the other person in the same business might not be profitable. So it really depends on how efficiently, how accurately, and how diligently you run it, and what kind of yields you get, what kind of actives you get, and how many crops you take as a failure, and how many crops you are cracking it and moving forward. Hope that answers it.
The next question is, how can we increase the active ingredient using hydroponic method?
So look, increasing active ingredients is not going to be different in hydroponics. It is going to be the same basics what you would do in soil. You need to study the biosynthesis pathways. You need to understand which part of the plant is creating these actives, how they are creating it, what are they converting it, what are the blocks which they are converting it into actives, at what stage they are converting it, what is influencing it to convert it. Is it the plant? Is it the environment? Is it the climate? Is it the root zone? Is it the nutrient? Is it the microbes? Is it the healthy bacteria? There are so many things which influence your active. So you have to pick up the plant, you have to study the literature, available literature, you have to visit the universities, you have to talk to the institutes who have been growing these medicinal plants, collect that information, do some small R&Ds, do some trials, work out the different combinations and see, monitor it, and then you come up with your own formula saying that, look, after doing this 20 things, I'm getting this active, and if I do these things more, I'm getting this active better and better. So it's a full-on R&D. You have to try it, you need to work out the combinations, and that's basically the way to go forward with this medicinal plants, because medicinal plants are not purchased because how they look. Medicinal plants are purchased because of the actives which is in it. Unfortunately, with the naked eye, you cannot see it. So it's very difficult for you to say, oh look, by doing this, my active is going up. So you need to test the batch regularly, and especially for the long duration crop, you might have to wait 6 to 8 months before you conclude that this formula worked or that formula did not work. So it's a time taking effort, and a lot of patience is required, especially for the plants which are long duration. For example, Shatavari will take you a easy 6 to 8 months to understand whether your strategy worked or not. Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't work, then you have to repeat the cycle again after 8 months. And some things work very well in R&D, but the moment you scale it up into the production, you don't get the exactly same results, because in R&D you take care of the plant so well, you spend so much of time on it, you make sure everything is taken properly. But the moment you scale it up, 1, 2, 3 different variables come into the picture, and that might impact your active. So you need a lot of patience, a lot of effort, and a lot of time before you say, yep, this formula works or that formula works.
So plants are grown well in the soil condition with a lot of nutrients. Then why do we need hydroponic, and is it more sustainable?
Look, as we all know, for medicinal plants, mostly they are grown in wild, and now very few farmers are now started taking up as a commercial cultivation in soil. There is no reason why you cannot do it in soil. It's a case by case economical sense, and it's a consumer driven. I mean, if the customer is demanding a reliable raw material, a traceable raw material, and with a consistent active, if certain regions of India where you are able to do it, there is no reason why you cannot do it in the soil, as long as it is making economical sense, as long as your end user is happy, keep doing it, there is no problem. But at the same time, if you are able to come up with a good economics saying that, look, if I do it in hydroponics, I'm getting 20 times more yield, 3 times better actives, and a consistent batch, then that's your business case. You should not just do it because you want to do hydroponic. That's not the reason. There has to be a proper business case. Crop selection has to be right. There has to be a customer who is willing to pay the premium for the traceable product, who is willing to pay extra because there are no pesticides, there are no chemicals used in it, who is happy to have a consistent batch year around, and that's the pull. If the market needs it, there is a gap which hydroponic or precision ag or protected cultivation guys are trying to fill in. There is a market. I mean, if there are certain crops which are grown good in the wild and they are able to do it sustainably without harming the nature, then there is no reason why you have to switch it to hydroponic just for switching it.
do we get a better quality and quantity of yield from hydroponics?
Obviously, hydroponics gives you very solid quality, very solid consistency. There is no doubt about it. It gives you a far superior product than the soil, just because you are able to control and manage so many variables which are not possible in the field. And you can time the harvest, you can exactly take care of your post harvest also. So the hydroponics is far more superior product when you compare with the field grown, because every plant, every crop is so consistent and the active is so uniform. It just works so well, and it gives you very superior product. So when you talk about only the quality, I would always say hydroponics, but at what cost is the question. But when you just talk about quality, the consistency, the actives, far more superior product, a lot more cleaner, a lot more sustainably grown, and that is the future. If you really want to grow very large quantities and you want to build this medicinal plant business to the next level where we are as a India supplying to the rest of the world, then that is more a sustainable and scale up way for the future. I hope this helped audience in understanding hydroponics, medicinal plants, its opportunities, its challenges. We at SimplyFresh have been into this medicinal plants for a long time. We have invested a lot of time, energy and money into R&D of this medicinal plants. So if you need more information, please do visit our website and our social media, and would love to connect and exchange ideas, because as we are also very young company and would love to connect with the industry guys and understand and enhance our knowledge. So it will be really good to connect with the people who are in the medicinal plant space and who are also exploring and learning and open for ideas. It would be really good to connect. Hope you guys got what you were looking from this talk, and let's connect soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Sachin, for nice talk and also for interacting with the audience. And we wish many more events like this will do for the future, for the contribution of Indian hydroponics of growing medicinal plants. So your contribution very high. Thank you very much.